All right, Lundy. I don't know what the hell Ted was thinking. Let us drive the bus on this one. But we got a couple of our old friends in the house tonight from the Red Deer Rustlers. I believe still the captain and an assistant captain, Mike Dempster and Jonny Lee. Welcome to the Oh Deer podcast.
Thanks for having us, fellas.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let's start it off right away. Tell us how the season's going.
So we're 2 games into the regular season here. We're 1-1. Game 1 was against Camrose, and it was our first one after a COVID year and a half of no hit hockey, no skating, no nothing, no conditioning. We came up with a 5-3 loss, but Camrose, that was their second game, and I don't know, we did well, but a lot of rust that needed to be shaken off, I would say.
Yeah, so they had a head start, hey?
A little bit of a head start, but I don't know in senior AA hockey how much of a head start you can actually get on someone. But
yeah, we didn't have the most intense training camp, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, no training camp?
Yeah, a few skates.
Not like when we started our year 1 where we did the spin classes and had the gym floor hockey and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
every night. I remember I was in the gym morning, noon, and night every night. Has that work ethic kind of translated to the younger guys that you guys are employing now?
Well, I think the younger guys are just young and still athletic. The old guys have to work hard.
Well, I'm going to chime in quickly from the couch here. Let's talk about, just before we get into too much, let's talk about the league the Rustlers play in, senior AA. I think a lot of people might not know that. Just talk a bit about the league.
Good question, Ted.
Yeah, the league's been around for a long time. What was it? We had the patches a couple years ago, I think.
1995?
Yeah, 1995. So it's been around. I was one of the guilty. I had no idea the league existed until we started our own team. It's a pretty thriving senior league. It's one of the biggest in Western Canada. We lost the team this year due to some COVID restrictions. They'll be back next year, or hopefully back next year. But it's a 9 team. We're down to 8 now.
Down to 8.
Down to 8. Yeah, we're 8-team league, all across. We're the most southern team, all the way up north to Bonnyville, Westlock, Devon, Morinville, Lacombe, Camrose, and Fort Saskatchewan. So lots of riding the bus.
And for those that want to Google it, what's the name of the league?
The North Central Senior Hockey League.
The NCHL. Yeah, just checking. Yeah.
It checks out.
So this league,
It's like a real thing. We got like a website and everything.
This league's been around longer than some of your players have been alive now. That's nuts.
That is correct. Yeah, I think I was.
But neither of you two. You're not in that category.
No, we're seasoned enough that we break that 1995 barrier. So
I think when we play with Pess on our left wing, I think that we're officially the oldest line in the league.
You guys, yeah, you're over 100 years old.
Yeah, because when we started, we were the 99 line, and yeah, now we're old. We have to work harder than everybody else.
Let's go back to the first year. Whose kind of idea was it to bring back the Rustlers? Because I know they were a team back in was it the 80s?
Mid 60s to 86.
86.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about how the idea got going to bring back the team and to join that league.
I think it's a 2-part question to that kind of thing. First part was, I think all of us sitting around after a long ball beer league game, and the Red Deer League folded for no hit league in town. So we were kind of pondering if we had something better to do instead of the trade ice times or whatever the case was. So I think we were all sitting around at Sam's South and had some brunch and talking about it. And then Dustin had previously played in the league, so kind of gave us this
The fairy tale story.
Yeah. So it's not that. It's a glorified beer league. There's no hitting.
Nobody
there's no
hits.
this and that. So I think that got the ball rolling. And then eventually once we, ironed out the logistics of forming a team, then that's when Mike took a part on the Rustlers. And that's what I guess the second part of the question. But
Yeah, I remember I didn't play that long ball game for whatever reason, but you guys went for drinks and I got a call from Kyle that night and he's like, I think we're going to start a team. And I asked the same question, like in what league? We're not playing senior AAA. What league are we talking about here? And so I looked it up that night and I was like, all right, well, if we're serious, I'll email the league. He's like, I think it'd be classier to wait until their trophy's handed out. We'll do it at the end of the year. I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, we waited and I think we emailed and I had no idea what was going to happen with how you join a league. And the guy's like, you need a mission statement, you need a financial statement, and we kind of looked for like, we don't have any of that. we have to get our boots moving here. But yeah, it panned out. I made some bullshit letter of our mission statement, and he accepted it, and we went from there.
Well, and to spin off that, because you're making it sound like this all got thrown together, I would say, you're the ringleader of the group. We all had this great idea, but you kind of took it and ran with it. And it took a hell of a lot to get ice time in Penhold. It took a hell of a lot to bring on the community sponsors that you brought in. And then we were packing that building. Like it was insane. I look back to that, like that was one of my funnest years of hockey, like breaking down on the bus, going to Bonnieville and like some of the.
That was not one of the funnest days of my life.
We spent 16 hours on a bus that day.
Oh my God.
And played hockey for 2.
And you played the night before, and we went out after. I remember, and I know like Lundy, you had a rough. A couple guys had a rough one.
Yeah, I don't think I played, so I got pretty banged up at the bar that night, and then the bus was leaving at like 7 a.m. the next morning, so I was like, oh, I'll just sleep on the bus, and then the bus broke down, and then I remember us showing up at the rink. I think we spent like 5 minutes in the dressing room.
They were already done with Canada.
Yeah.
Before we got to the rink.
Yeah, and then we got the hell out of there as quickly as possible.
I think we won 7-2 or something like that.
I was just praying that the bus didn't break down on the way back because I was not going to make it.
You had a couple soy sauce shots and a couple pepper snorts that night at the old JJ's kitchen.
I think that since the Gary Harris, that's where we left that year, right? We always took the bus out of the Gary Harris. I think that our team absolutely set the league record for most trucks that slept over.
Speaking of the Gary Harris, and this is one of the reasons I retired from senior hockey. We played one of our playoff series is at the Gary Harris, which was still Olympic size ice. And that's when I realized my fat ass could not get around the ice anymore. And I was like, oh man, this is it for me. I'm done.
I remember sitting because we had beat them pretty handily throughout the regular season. And I remember that playoff game, I think we only won 3-1 or something like that. And I remember being in the dressing room thinking, like, why are we so bad tonight? Why is our team no good? Why can't we score goals? Why aren't we in the right spots? It's like, because their team's 20 and we're all old and this rink is 30% bigger.
Yeah, they shouldn't have those rinks in Red Deer. Like those should be specifically just for the Olympics, I think. Yeah. I don't think Red Deer's hosting the Olympics anytime soon, so get rid of it.
Yeah, it was
and
no
it
good.
is gone. It is like, to be fair, it's gone. Like they've moved.
They listened to Lundy?
Yeah.
Lundy wrote a letter to the editor.
So if you and Dustin went out there and played a game right now, you guys would be fine. No issues. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should rejoin the team, Dust.
Well, we'll see how tonight goes. We'll do some contract negotiations after.
Yeah.
So let's spin now to where we're at now. You guys, in year 2, I believe, is that right? Year 2 or 3, you guys actually made it to provincials. I think it was the year after.
Year 2.
Year after me and Lundy and a few other guys couldn't put up with the hitting that I thought was make believe in the league before. But you guys ended up making it to provincials. It was great for you guys to take that step. It was in Lethbridge and then COVID.
Yeah, so we actually didn't get to finish the league final, but because it was getting hosted in Lethbridge, our league got to send 2 entrants. So we were both going, and then COVID happened and shut down the final. But yeah, it was going to be good. We had lots of high hopes. It was obviously would have been the biggest stage that we played on. We were pretty excited, and I think that's obviously the goal now, again, to get back to the same spot and continue.
So I think for our listeners too, because people who are unfamiliar with senior AA and new teams joining the league and, an expansion team. The first year we finished second place, I think, in the regular season. I think we lost the second round. The second year you guys made it to provincials, and then the third year was COVID. So now you're entering your 4th year.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy to me, the success that the team's already had and the community backers you guys have behind it. And so I guess if you haven't gone out to a game, make sure it's good hockey. It's fun. It's the old boys, Jonny and Mike and Pesser and, the other Pesser. And
Well, it's a bit of a throwback, and that's what everyone says. Many people are like me. They didn't know the league existed. They didn't know the team existed. We're trying to obviously get awareness for that, because once you come in the door and watch, it's a cheap ticket for one. It's $10 for adults. Kids are free. $5 for seniors, kind of thing. So you can go there, have a beer at the bar, watch the game, and not spend a boatload of money. And your kids run around the track. You don't have to watch them. Let them have fun. It's parents' night off. And almost everyone that leaves the game goes, wow, I didn't like this is kind of an old school brand of hockey. There's hitting, there's fights, there's, you know, chirping, there's slashing. It's not necessarily the new age don't touch me hockey.
Yeah.
It's definitely maybe a brand of WHL back from 04 or 02 or 01. But yeah, I know it's super exciting to see people come out for it. We obviously try to get as much community involvement as we can. We've done obviously multiple different charities, but the biggest backer or fans is family and friends. Everybody on our team knows somebody who plays, that used to play in Red Deer, or they moved away and they come home. So it's moms and dads, uncles, aunts, friends, and it's kind of like a big little hockey family, I guess.
So Ted over here on the couch. I'm since Dustin's driving the bus today, I'm going to play the role of Dustin and kind of jump all over the place on the timeline. You mentioned, you know, kind of the throwback, that it's all a throwback, and kind of a really special meaning for you, and a reason why you chose the Rustlers for this team name. Yeah,
so my dad played for the original Red Deer Rustlers from 69 to 71, and they won Red Deer's first national championship in 1971. Which is actually will be this year's the 50th anniversary of that. Obviously, the Rustlers were a big part of Red Deer before the Rebels were here. They were still, I believe, this could be wrong, but I believe they still are tied for the most AJHL championships for any organization, and they were only around from, I believe, it was 67 to 86. So very, very short compared to, you know, lots of the teams in the league. And then he had his hockey career, came back, and then coached the Rustlers from 80 to 85 until they folded in 86. So yeah, the Rustlers is part of my family for a long time. I just actually got a 1970 71 national championship banner back. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, it was when we were deciding team names, it was kind of a no-brainer that we wanted to do that.
That's right, because there's a minor team named the Red Deer Rustlers too. So did you have to get their backing to use that name?
Yeah, actually, well, we kind of worked together on that. I wouldn't say we kind of asked for more of a blessing. We didn't have to do any legality or anything like that. But Kevin with Thrive Hockey, he also runs the Rustler summer hockey program. You know, actually to begin with, he went for a meeting with him, and he was really on board with what we were trying to accomplish, and we had his full support. So, yeah, we went with the new logo instead of the old logo, so we could kind of, you know, blend with the way the new age Rustlers. And then, you know, I think hopefully we'll end up going to a third jersey, a throwback to the old school Rustlers. But yeah, so that's kind of how that we kind of had to get that blessing. But it's worked out well, because you know, you see lots of kids wearing the Rustler logo that it's either their hockey team or they're supporting our team, or, you know,
or both.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Well, and that's the funny thing with it is, like, you know, the kids, if they're, I think that my son was the first level of Rustlers this year, so he's 7, and it goes up to, I believe they go to like 13 or 14. When they see us wearing the jersey and their logo, they completely or they don't even realize that we're all essentially has-beens. You know, they look at you in the dressing room, and they come in and they think that you're just as cool as a Rebel, or just as cool as the guy they see on TV, because you're wearing the exact same colors they are, right? Like, you're kind of part of their team. So
I mean, you guys are pretty cool.
Well,
you guys are.
And let's give you a little bit of credit, because, you know, I'm a little jealous, to be honest. Like, my body can't keep up to my growing belly, I think. My shoulders, everything else. But like, I truly am jealous that you guys have this thing still going. I knew I couldn't make it a thing after getting knocked out cold in playoffs.
Well, that's what I said. I could sign you for one game. I got cards if you want to settle the score. Like, we could throw it on the table tonight.
Little Rustler of the game.
No. We signed Dustin tonight. Get him on a card. I have the Hockey Canada registry on my phone. You're an ex-player. It takes one click. I can get you on the roster, and we dress you versus Morinville, and you settle the score.
Oh, I wouldn't hate that. I did like to dabble in the in the fighting back in the day. But
You don't even have to skate. We'll put you on in the second period. Let him get a bit tired.
Just one shift, man. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
Can we talk about that hit though, Dustin? Because working in the box all season there, and I had a front row because it happened right in front of us. And here's a guy who's already gambling with what little brain cells he has left, right? And he's out there, playing. You had a good season too. Like you still had it, and absolute cheap shot hit. And I just saw you drop right in front of me. And I kind of looked over the glass, and I guess this speaks to what you mean to me that I didn't even know, but my heart sank. Like I almost threw up because you were there. Your eyes are in the back of your head. Like we were talking about horror movies last week. It was like a scene from one. It's like, is he going to start like puking green slime and speaking Latin backwards? And
I don't know.
that was scary. We're joking. That was scary though.
I don't know if you know, Ted, but that's the second time that I've seen Dustin almost get paralyzed on the ice.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the first time was in Camrose when we were playing together in Olds,
Yeah.
and he got hit from behind and he went off on a stretcher, and he was all tied up, he couldn't move, and he wasn't moving his hands or his feet. Like the team had no idea if he was leaving paralyzed or not.
Is that when you broke your
That's
back?
when I broke my back. Yeah.
The whole team was
You were probably just trying to draw the
Draw the major penalty.
I don't even know if the guy got a major.
No, I don't think. I think he got 2 minutes for boarding.
Was that
it-
when you
was
lost
it
your
Red
jibs
Dudley?
too? Or?
No, it was Stockwell. Oh, that was a
Because
different one. That was in
that guy your
Okotoks.
life for knocking those teeth out.
Yeah, I agree. Except for the worst part with knocking my teeth out, and Mike was, Mike was at that game too. It was in Okotoks. I got hit from behind and right onto the dasher, and my mouth guard was filled with my 4 front teeth that were so crooked. But that night we had a party in Olds, like a team party. I remember this to the day. And I got my dad to rip me back to Red Deer, emergency dental surgery. And he's like, "Well, I can fix these. I can actually
Tony
put
Odenbach?
I can put bonding on. I can make them straight and stuff." I said, "No, just put them on how they were. I need to get back to Olds." So he actually put my teeth back in crooked. And then my mom had to pay a bunch of money to get veneers for my wedding. But, in regards to that hit, like I knew right then and there. It's the weirdest thing because Ekdahl came over. He's like, "Did you break your back again?" First thing he says to me, he was in Olds with us too. And I didn't really know where I was at the time. And then I got in the dressing room and no headache, nothing. Like I ended up being, I think it was more whiplashy than anything, blindside. But our friend Keith Henderson's wife, who's a general physician, is that right?
Yeah, good job.
GP?
I mean, I don't know if that's what she is, but you said the word
Yeah,
right.
she's a GP and an ER doctor too. So she came down to the dressing room and I was in good hands, and Ash came down too, and I knew right then. I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to play.
To put it in perspective, when you got hit at our blue line, I had the puck at their blue line. So
I was a little late and blindsided.
That was the gap in spacing.
And I'm trying to remember who it was, but someone, it probably was one of the Pest twins. I
No,
don't know
it was
if it was
Rickman.
Mary Kate or Ashley or Rick.
It was Rickman. I remember
Someone avenged you pretty good there.
Yeah,
and that
Ricks
was,
did a good job.
I will say, like, as much fun as I had being a part of the team, I fucking hated you guys so much because it would take like 9 hours after every game. We'd run out of space on the score sheet for penalties. We'd be sorting shit out, going to the refs, going signing reports. Like, oh my God. Like,
See,
I've never seen so many penalties in my whole life combined as I did I guess 2 seasons, with the Rustlers.
I think that
insane.
first year we had this idea that we were going to be like the old boys coming in and like kind of like the big bad team and try to impose our will to make up for lack of foot speed. and I think that it showed pretty quickly that teams are too good in the league to take that many penalties.
I mean, we had to establish the culture, right?
Yeah.
We had to.
Well,
had to make it a hard barn to play in.
Shout out Brennan Francon for getting the first 17-minute penalty I've ever seen. 17 minutes in the box.
Not only that, when he was in the dressing room after that, he was feeling shame, having a beer in the dressing room, and Odie walked in, and Odie looks at him, and he's like, "Yeah, sorry, coach. I lost my cool. I shouldn't have done that. I put the team in a bad spot." And Ode looks at him and he cracks a beer and picks it up. He goes, "That's okay, Frankie. I just told the referee I was going to set his house on fire." So,
Oh God. Okay, so thanks Ted for butting in and taking us back down memory lane because that's fantastic. But now we're gonna fast forward to now. because, tell us what's going on. You guys, what's going on with sponsors? What's going on with partners? Like, what you guys need some volunteers? What do you got happening?
I think the struggles volunteers every year. Previous years we were fortunate enough to have Ted with us. Like, I hate to say it, Ted, but we missed you a little bit this year.
Yeah, I miss it too.
Dustin asked me to get him a granola bar from the concession. Quit.
That's not one of the things that made me quit, but Dustin did. I think
it wasn't me either, by the way.
If we had a score sheet for how many times I quit as GM of the Red Deer Senior Rustlers that year, it would be 5 times the amount of points Ryan Lund had.
Man, after every game, Ted just telling me that's my last game. I'm not doing that again.
You know what? And I'll say, sorry, Dustin, I'm taking us back again, but right from the get-go, me being newer in Red Deer, and Dustin really just asked me, hey, do you want to kind of do like our social media marketing for this senior AA team we're starting? And I was kind of familiar with the league and that, and I thought, hey, perfect. I'm not doing much right now. It's a good distraction, and as awful as it was, I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made because, I'm sure like I would have met you guys down the road anyways, but, we got to do that right away, and I think Dustin can attest, and for 4 of the 5 of us in the room, like being a part of the group that brought that team in, and, Dempster, you led the way, but it was an awesome feeling. And I don't think we can really overemphasize what an accomplishment that is. And really, came in and took the community by storm, and 400 and something people at the home opener for a senior AA team is pretty unheard of.
If you guys remember, we skated out through smoke. We had smoke and lights for our first game.
Yeah, why didn't you guys keep that? That was
you know what? The new kids that came in, so obviously I say kids when we're talking about the newer team, we are getting a little bit younger. And I think going back to what Ted said as far as how hard it was for Ted at the running the behind the scenes thing, as every new organization or everything new, I'm sure, your podcast has been smoother after episode 17 instead of episode 3.
No.
I think we worked out. Okay, so you guys are the anomaly. But we've worked out some kinks, and the behind the scenes stuff is tamed a little bit. It's a little bit more achievable for a few people to take care of. But yeah, the young guys are like, how come we didn't get to skate through smoke? We heard about your guys' epic home opener.
Because Ted quit too many times. Yeah. But man, and I will tell you from every angle of being a part of that team, like the professional development too of that is huge. Like I did learn a lot. I was amazed by how much like 30-year-old men needed to be babysat, but that really prepared me for this podcast. But
you're welcome, Ted.
If you talk to these guys ever, we don't have time to go into it, but it was a roller coaster for me getting to be, I guess my official title was GM of that team, but for a guy who sucks at hockey, I really got to be a part of the team, and the team treated me incredibly well too. And it was a ton of fun. I know if anyone out there is looking for some social media experience, I know Dempster, you're doing a good job on social media, but I'm sure you'd love to have a volunteer come in and handle that, especially kind of during game time.
Yeah. You know what? This year we have some buy-in from some of the younger guys as you guys left and filling spots in the board and stuff like that. So we have some of the younger guys that have stepped up. John and myself take a little bit of the lion's share of the work. But yes, you're always looking for volunteers. I'm not a social media guy. I'm trying to make it work, trying to get awareness out there, because that's really the biggest thing is awareness about the team, knowing that we exist. So one of the things that we're doing this year, we're starting Saturday. So each game we're going to reach out to a minor hockey association, and we're going to bring a couple teams in. So this Saturday we're having a U9 team from Innisfail and a U9 team from Red Deer, and they're going to wear their jerseys. They get free entry, little bag of chips. Parents get half price and get a little shout out on the microphone, and they could scream and yell. And hopefully it gets another 15 or 20 people that have never seen a Rustlers game come in, and they see the hockey, they enjoy the hockey, and they come back next time. So.
Yeah, essentially, as much as it's senior AA hockey, it still costs money too, right? So, we run for non-for-profit, so we're trying to sell seats in the stands just to pay for ice times, pay for referees, pay for extra things like to have the beer gardens and stuff like that. So, essentially, we need about 100 people per game to break even for for us to keep running. So, and then bus trips and stuff too. You know, as much as it is, we want to try and provide pizza, beers for after the game, right? Some kind of incentive for the guys to come to the rink.
We've had a couple, like some of your sponsors are our sponsors as well. I know you guys have Bose, right? So, but the local restaurants is a huge one. We can easily support back in that regard, right? We can, after the game, everyone joins up, goes to a restaurant, has a beer, has a bite to eat, and we've had 3 restaurants on board from day one. The Penholder, Bose, and Hideout have been super solid. They're great partners to be with. They help you out with everything as far as finding us even a beer sponsor for our team. That was all done by a restaurant for us. So,
but you guys talk about the sponsors. Like the one thing that I really learned is how much it actually takes to run the team. Like how much money per year. I thought naively, oh, it's $5 or $10 but I was way off. So I don't know if you want to share that info.
That bullshit, mission statement that I wrote down our budget for the year, and that was going to be $20,000, thinking that was really high. We're going to get a couple sponsors. We're going to, make Morsey's dad pay some money, have some, that kind of stuff, and we'd be fine. And all of a sudden you start seeing the costs. And it is true when people talk about minor hockey and the cost of minor hockey, ice time is expensive. We're, as a senior adults, we're over $200 an hour for the rink. And, you put that into a practice a week, a game a week, it adds up quickly. Obviously, safe travel, so you get on a bus to go on your road trips. Nobody's driving to Bonnyville. And lots of the thing, too, is making the organization be as professional as we can, because lots of these players are coming back from the WHL. They're coming back from ACAC or CIS or even, playing pro somewhere. They want to come back and still be part of an organization that's not a mom and pop shop. So you need to be able to put something on the ice or put something off the ice that they're willing to come to try and make it a sustainable group, right? For us to continue when we're done playing, this foundation needs to be set that the Rustlers organization is going to be a place to play.
So, and I think, to that point of, all these guys finding a place to play after CIS, ACAC, Pro, Western Hockey League, AJHL, wherever all these players are coming from now, I hate to, plug your ears, minor hockey parents, but your kids probably, like if they're playing senior hockey,
I know where you're going with this.
They've done themselves so good. Like if you're playing hockey at the age these guys are playing hockey at right now at 35 years old, that's nuts. That is actually nuts. So
to couple on that, so I coach a U9 team, and we had our parent meeting, and they ask you what your goal is throughout the season, and obviously you're working on skills and this and that, but number one goal is to find a love for the game. Because that's what I say. If you can be my age and still love to play hockey and go get hit by 21-year-old kids and 23-year-old kids and be sore from Saturday to Wednesday till practice, and then be tired from Wednesday to Saturday to the game, and then just continue that cycle. I love the game. I've always loved the game. These last few years have been some of the funnest years of my hockey career. So exactly what you said. If you can have your son or daughter play hockey and get to a point where they're well into their adult years and they're still loving the game, then I think you've done a great job as a hockey parent, and I think the game grows from that. So
honest question for both of you. Right now, at your age, what do you love most about playing? Is it the challenge? Is it the team? Is it sniping one top corner and celebrating? Like what keeps you?
Well, we haven't scored this year yet. So.
It's only 2 games.
Killing that penalty off, Lundy.
You're looking at the number one penalty killing pair.
Right here, right now, yeah.
That blocking a shot from the point. Yeah, what is it? What keeps you coming back with all those bruises and maybe concussions?
I think for me personally, it's just the competitiveness. It's nice to compete for something. Not saying that beer league hockey or anything is not good hockey and it's not fun, but that the competitiveness, you play years and years of elite hockey, you go through the junior rankings, and it's tough sometimes just to give it up. I think this league is it's perfect because everyone has that mutual respect. We have to go to work on Monday, right? It's so
except for the guy that hit Dusty.
Yeah, except for that guy. He doesn't work on Mondays. So, but yeah, it's just that's something of accomplishment too. I think the reason why Mike and I and Kyle or some of the older guys are holding on to maybe one last dream is we'd like to win a provincial. We'd like to bring a title back to Red Deer and say that, we're going to retire on a high end kind of thing. Kind of like, some guys chase a Stanley Cup. I don't want to compare it to the Stanley Cup or anything.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. But it's just, it's nice that
What's our trophy? It's the Vanberg Cup, I think.
Vanberg Cup.
And you get to decide what your own Stanley Cup is, right?
Yeah,
Everyone gets
exactly.
to. So this is it. Good for you.
I never won a junior A championship or anything like that, so I'll go with a senior AA championship will be my Stanley Cup. But
So Mike, before you answer though,
Okay.
because I'm watching you guys on social media. I got to get out to a game here soon and see the new product. But if you guys do win a senior AA championship this year and head to provincials and win it all, can me and Lundy drive the bus for the parade in Red Deer when you guys bring it back?
Okay, so my dad's best memory of being a Rustler, and this was like, the day that he passed away, he's telling stories, and he said that they came back from PEI because it was a best of 7 back then instead of a tournament. So they came back from PEI, and he said that there was like 6,000 people on Gates Ave waiting for them to come back, and they had a parade, and he's like telling the story in 2019 and got teary-eyed like from how cool it was. So you say that like the parade, obviously I don't think we'd have the same fanfare, but
I think we should do it like the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll head out to Sylvan and have
like
a
on a
boat
boat?
parade.
Yeah.
you might have to compete with Phil, the bus driver, to drive that bus during the parade.
Feel the thrill.
Wait, someone has to talk about Phil real quick. Just even though we
I don't know if Morsey or Lundy want to talk
talked
about
long
Phil
ago
or
about Phil, but we forgot about
Phil,
I never forget about Phil. He's my
Phil-
favorite bus driver.
Phil has a
What's his
type
name?
of light.
Phil.
Phil loves driving the bus as much as you guys love playing hockey. And didn't he?
He drove to Edmonton that morning.
Yeah,
thinking he had to pick us up to Edmonton.
He thought we were going from Edmonton to Red Deer instead of Red Deer to Edmonton.
And we ended up going to Bonnyville. And that circle back, that's the bus trip that broke down.
Yeah. And where were we? Like Warlock?
No, we were in
Gibbons.
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 Yeah.
And not only that, but it was a terrifying ride up to Gibbons. And then we get to Gibbons and our bus breaks down, and because he hasn't slept, he drove to Edmonton to pick us up and realized he shouldn't have been in Edmonton and drove back to
I
pick
think
us
he
up.
had a little pick me up.
We offered him an energy drink, but he doesn't like energy drinks. So
Then we're thinking, great, a new bus comes. Phil's gonna deal with this bus. No, Phil hops on the new bus
And
and
leaves the
drives
other
us to
guy.
Bonnyville and leaves that one to. Oh my god, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, Phil wasn't missing that trip.
And then there was a blizzard on the way back, so it took us twice as long to get home. I can't believe anyone
That's
stayed
the only
on
bus
the
trip
team.
I've ever been on. Granted, you didn't stop for beer very often when you were playing junior hockey, but it was the only bus trip that I've ever been on that we stopped 3 times separately on the way home to get drinks. Phil was, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone as mad at a single person as Scott was mad at Phil. When he said that we passed to pick up the Pest Brothers in Leduc, and he seen the gauge was down, and he didn't tell him for another hour and a half on the road, I thought Odie was going to kick the shit out of him. Like, I honestly thought that he was going to throw Phil off the bus.
Odie was just getting fired up. He was just getting ready for the game.
He's like, why am I here?
Well, I think before we wrap up, we should talk about Scott Odegaard. He's the first ever coach in senior Rustlers history, and also unfortunately passed away in the last year here. But some great memories there. I know me personally, I'd never met him before, and I was afraid of him for like the first 4 games just because of his sense of humor. And I think any time I was around him was just the wrong time, and I don't think he knew I was the general manager.
You needed to work on your timing a little bit.
He thought I was just a fan hanging out down the hallway. Get the hell out of here.
What do you want, autographs?
So our first game, we had a small ceremony for Scott and for Wynn. So we, the people in Penhold where we play at the multiplex, they're going to let us hang a banner. So we made a Forever a Rustler banner that had their names on it, and they're we have the old logo for Wynn, we have the current logo for Scott. But Scott was fantastic. I think that many people probably feel the way that Ted does. He's a commanding presence when he was in the room. You definitely knew when Odie was there. But the memories that we had in the 2 years were phenomenal, and stuff that I'll never forget. He was there from day one, and when you start something like this from the ground up, and the people volunteer their time, and they volunteer, everyone's time is precious and how much you have left. And he spent a lot of time where he could have been doing a hell of a lot of other things, and he was sitting on a bus with us or sitting on a bench with us. So that'll be something that I always will respect for sure.
yeah, no, definitely. I think for a guy to command a group of mid-20s to early 30-year-olds and have that respect from the moment he walked in that room is No, it was good. He knew the right buttons to push, and then he knew when it was time to have a good beer too. So after a big win, it wasn't unlike him to walk in and crack open a beer and chug it down right there and then.
Fastest beer drink.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
no, we had a lot of good memories, and we're very thankful for all that he did and all the sacrifice he did for us, and he'll always be remembered as a forever wrestler for us.
That's when it got real for me, is when he joined as coach and ran our first practice. Just because up until that point, it was just kind of like, all right, let's do a couple drills, guys. Let's scrimmage, and all right, good job, everyone. Hit the showers. No, when Odie joined, it was fucking go, Lundy, hurry the fuck up, Lundy.
Do you remember the practice at RDC? Yeah.
Dedication skates.
Yeah.
You remember this? Everyone makes it to the blue line, back, red line, back, blue line, back, far end, back. And if you don't make it, you go again. Well, Lundy goes blue line back, red line back, blue line back, and he's with the group, and then goes to the far end and goes back, and his legs completely.
He went Bambi.
Yeah. There was no legs left on him. He almost broke his ankle.
Yeah, I did like a pirouette, and my ankle just gave out, and I couldn't get back up.
It's because you're skating with size 14 skates.
Yeah, apparently I didn't do up my skates properly too. Guys gave it to me a lot that year. But no, yeah, just to get back to it, Odie was he was one of a kind, and he was the perfect guy to run that team, I think.
Yeah, it was a good fit, and to be kind of funny, not funny, but our new coach Jason knew Odie quite well through work, and it's a very similar presence in the room. Maybe a little less on the joking side, but very, very similar presence. So it's kind of, and we had actually planned before the season, before Odie passed, that they were going to work together. So it was nice that Jason's still committed. Obviously, it's you need someone to be there to man the ship and get the guys going in the right direction. So
yeah, someone's got to have that final say.
And I'm so happy it's not me.
Yeah. So I guess my final question today, guys, is what's the prediction for this year? Are you guys going to win the league, win provincials, or are you just building slowly to another second place finish?
I don't have enough years left to build slowly.
All right, you're all in this year is what you're saying.
Pretty much. I think this is all or nothing. We'll see. I have started a family myself now, so family comes first before hockey. But you do have a second family there, but I don't know. After 35, I don't know if I got another year in me or not. But we'll see. But yeah.
See, and I have this little in my brain. I think I'm going to try to play till I'm 40. So I don't know if I'm going to be good enough to play till I'm 40, but I kind of own the team. So
if Tom Brady can do it.
Yeah,
you probably can.
You've heard a lot of parallels between him and I, right?
Yeah.
Or Yager. I mean, Yager's 50, or just about 50, and he's still playing. So you got 15 more years.
And he owns the team too,
and same type of player.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But in all honesty, I think that we did a really good job of bringing in good teammates this year, good people. Again, some local, some guys from out of town, but I think we have a good squad. I think we have a lot to work on. Obviously, there's a lot of rink rust like we talked about earlier, but I think we have a good chance. There's going to be some tough teams, as there always is. And you can't sleep on any team, as we found out. Teams are too good to throw one up. You have to come to play, or you're going to get beat. So we had a good game last game. Good. We were the Red Deer Burkholtzes.
Yeah, 5-2 I saw.
Yeah, set the all-time points record.
Well, one of you guys can break that next game then.
If I get 5-2 next game,
you're gonna retire.
I will do this podcast in no clothes.
All right.
He needs 5 more points to go 5-2 in his whole Rustlers career.
Just for reference, I scored 4 goals last year.
But I'm sure they're all beauties.
Oh yeah. Just like yours.
So I guess before we wrap up, we mentioned, Mike, volunteers, sponsors, especially go ahead and sponsor, because I think you guys are still financially recovering from Dustin and I making all the decisions the first year. Let's get a couple extra pizzas. Let's get a bus. Let's buy this. Let's buy that. But I think it's always a great sponsorship opportunity because not only of the clientele at the game, but even the people on the team, right? Everyone's at that age where just like the listeners of our show, you might need insurance or you might need to buy a house and that. So huge opportunity there for sponsorship. And yeah, I know it's hard to dig up volunteers. I don't envy Dempster. I'm assuming you're the one looking after that this year. So just how do people get a hold of you if they want to do either of those? Hopefully both.
We have our social medias. We have the Instagram and Twitter with RD Senior Rustlers. We have just take my personal number 403-588-2447. Give me a call anytime.
To find hot local singles in your area.
Oddly enough, if you need plumbing help or want to talk about the Rustlers or a date, that number works for all three.
And that's Senior Double A in a nutshell right there. You said it perfectly.
Yeah, for plumbing, push 1.
For the Senior Rustlers, push 2.
To get your pipes cleaned, press 3.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to go out on. Thanks, boys, for coming in. You took us down memory lane today, and really excited for you guys in your third year of operation to do some great things. And thanks for coming on the podcast, partnering up with us, because we sure appreciate your guys' business, and we can't wait to get out and support yours.
And you guys brought us, I think, 20 tickets, good for any game. The rest of the regular season that we're going to give away on social media. And thanks for the slick new hats too.
Thank you guys for having us. We appreciate that and allowing us to come and, like Dustin said, walk down memory lane with Lundy and you guys and talk about how much effort you put into our team, and now you don't want to be part of it anymore. So
yeah,
love the organization, love the group. Piss on you guys, I'm done with you. But
well, we'll have you guys back on after the parade this year, and Dempster will expect you without any clothes.
No, that was only for 7-point night.
Just don't wear any clothes, man.
There'll be a spot. I'm going to quit this podcast probably 10 times too, so there'll always be an open spot for Dempster. You can be the first 3-time guest.
Perfect, I'm in. Yeah, I honestly, after the first time, I left and I was like having a little bit of FOMO that I wasn't in the podcast. I had so much fun the first time. I was like, I want to stay. I want to be part. But 35 cards, Hockey Canada rules. We're currently at 30, so that means there's 5 cards left. At January 10th, I can just cut you and you don't have to play anymore. So offers on the table if you want to settle the score.
I'll think about it.
Is that for Lundy or Dustin? Because Lundy, I think, has some unfinished business too. So
I think Lundy scored in his last game, didn't he?
To get some ice time.
Geez. I think I had 2 I think I had 1 goal and 3 points that year. So I think I've done everything I came to do.
You know, like hockey players can remember every shift, like Steven Stamkos. Lund can remember every shift because there was 7.
And they were all like 7 seconds long.
All right, thanks, fellas. Thanks for having us.
Oh, dear.